Hello, everyone. It's not, the background lied. It's not MTG Arena, at least not yet. They don't have the quick draft for the new set out yet. And I'm too scared to go straight into a draft with people on a timer when I don't know anything about the set. So instead of launching straight into that, which I thought I might do over the weekend, just make my deck for tomorrow. What's tomorrow, you may ask? Nice classes, thank you, they're new. I'm trying them out, because turns out I have a very mild astigmatism. Not anything on the level that means I can't see well without them. I can read text perfectly fine, I don't need much of a prescription for, like, near-far vision. But, I've been having some headaches, and we're exploring whether eye strain might be a contributing factor, so I'm trying these out, and I think they look pretty snazzy. Oh! I didn't realize Mick Case, MC Case, MC Ace. For whatever reason, I've never quite sorted out exactly how I want to pronounce your name in my brain. I just realized I haven't seen you over here before. It says this is a first-time chat. Welcome, if you're here from Gathering Cards. And yes, as I was saying, if you're curious what I'm talking about, making my deck for tomorrow. Tomorrow? Oof, I've been hanging out with Oz too much. I picked up the Canadian pronunciation there. I am part of, I host a weekly Magic the Gathering stream over on twitch.tv/PrizeRoundRPG, bam, called Gathering Cards. That's a progression series, so we open a new set each time we play, and we make new decks. And goodness me, but it's been going for like a year and a half now, and we're about 50 sets in. Conflux is the second Alara set, yes, Demifly. Colorless, huh? Going for the NA slot. No, probably not actually. This is not, this is an idea for future maybe, but it kind of sucks right now. It looked not very good, and B, not very fun. So I've shelved it for now. I do want to tick off that box someday. But that will not be this week. Also, the three other people in the progression are Mo, Savvy, and Carl. So none of those three are allowed to be here. No one leak my secret war plans to them, neither. Nope, we're all the way down here. I have blue, white, and green available to play this next week. And I think I'm gonna play all of them, because the mana fixing's good enough. So, as you can see where I left this, my usual process for this... Ooh, excuse me. This is extended, by the way, so it's back to Kamigawa block and no further. My usual process for this is that I go through the card pool looking for stuff in the colors that I can play, or maybe narrower than that if I've already got a specific idea for a deck or the colors I want to play, and I kind of just put in considering everything that's like, yeah, I can envision a universe in which I would ever play this. So I do all of that to start with. And then I go and, annoyingly, as far as I know, Moxfield does not have an automatic way to do this, because the next thing I want to know is, okay, how many of each of these do I actually have? And to my knowledge, there is not a trivial way to just add the maximum number from the search, nor is there a trivial way to just top this up to the number that I have, so I end up going, for cards that I'm interested in, I bump them up until my little collection thing is like, hey bro, you don't actually have that many. So, you know, I'll go through doing stuff like this, like, oh, I've got 2 of that, I got 3 of that, I got 4 of that, I've got 2 of those, and so on and so forth, so I get a sense of like, yeah, this would be a neat card to build around, but do I have more than one? And often the answer is no. Sadly. So I'm not gonna just go through that for everything, because I've kind of already narrowed down my deck concept a little. So I think what we're looking for this week is blue, white, green control. Because of course I would play control. If I have those colors, I'm gonna play a slower deck that's looking to play good cards with a lot of value, more so than just an aggro deck. And there's nothing interesting to do in the combo sphere that I can see with what I have available. So the question, where I left this off, I've put in cards that I think are most likely I'm gonna want to play. Ponders and Compulsive Researches for my my draw and filtering. Sakura Tribe Elder for mana ramp and fixing. I have one Tarmogoyf. I'm gonna play one Tarmogoyf. He's good even in a control deck. I have one Vendilion Clique. I'd probably like to play it because it's a pretty good threat / trade with a creature / hand disrupt. And you don't have much hand disruption otherwise in these colors. I've got one Loxodon Hierarch, and I think I'm going to play that. That's just a real great mid-range, control-friendly creature. And I have two Mystic Snakes. I think, actually, neither of them from Apocalypse. I think I actually got two time-shifted ones, which is pretty funny, yeah. So I couldn't use these before when I was playing blue-green, but I have them now, and I think I might play them. It's just a cool card I like. So the big thing that I am trying to reason through right now is, am I gonna play very few creatures and, like, main deck for Wrath of God and sweepers and stuff, and assume that I'm not committing much to the board until I'm ready to, like, actually start winning? Or am I gonna play more creatures, in which case it is not super friendly to run a lot of main deck sweepers? You can still maybe run some, but, you know, the deck playstyle is very different if we're talking just accelerate mana, kill everything, or kill or counter everything that gets played, and then drop, like, a Darker Valkyrie and attack 5 times. That's one way you can play it. That's a very blue-white core way to play. But green does give me access to some really nice creatures that are cheap enough that, you know, I could actually establish an earlier board presence. And I think I'll probably go for that just because I've played, like, draw-go-esque blue-white control with just, you know, 4 Wrath of God, 3 Nevinyrral's Disc type decks before. And they're good, but they're kind of slow. And I'd be playing a lot of the same cards I've already played. And it would be difficult to justify playing, like... These guys are the ones I put in first, and these guys I might be willing to run anyway, even if I was, like, main decking 4 Wrath, but... There's a ton of other cool stuff, like Rock's Warmonk, that's just, like, really great anti-aggro, but also proactive game plan stats creature. Mystic Enforcer, Calciderm, Briarhorn, Wiltleaf Liege. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that I could play if I was willing to say, you know what, I'm not going to just wipe the board over and over again. I'm actually going to try and commit some board presence. So, I think I'll probably go that route, just because it'll make for a more interesting game, compared to just sitting back and not establishing any board of my own. I've finally got some decent counter magic again. God, it feels like every time I've been not banned out of blue lately, it's been in standard, where all the counter magic is dog shit. Because Mana Leak isn't in 10th. You got, like, Remove Soul and Negate. And, like, Cancel. And it's not the worst it's ever been, but it's not great either right now. Supply demand lets you search multicolor. Yeah. I also opened 3 Bant Charm, which is a really good, really versatile card. For basically, it's basically terminate or counter an instant, which can be used on a lot of removal spells and also other counter magic, and then, you know, shatter if shatter is what you need. It's one of the better of this cycle. So when I saw I opened 3, I was like, I got some other kooky stuff here. I haven't gotten to play Vanish into Memory or Aether Mage's Touch. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. How would I open for Resounding Silence? Playset? Okay. I think I've got a playset of Rewind. There's also some fun high-end blue stuff I haven't gotten to break out yet, like Commandeer and, where is it? Take Possession. Don't spread this around. Oh, God, if I really wanted to be a bastard, it's the last week it'll be legal and extended. I do have a playset of Sensei's Divining Top and a playset of Counterbalance, which can make for a really obnoxious, card-free counter magic strat, just stacking the top of your deck to counter stuff with, the enchantment. I believe... I don't remember if it was, like, good enough to be a top-tier contender in Standard, but it was an interaction people actually did build around. It was pretty funny. But that's a really, like, that's almost more in the realm of, like, mono blue, and a really slow game, where you're just topping and counterbalancing and trying to keep everything off the board. If I were going the blue-white, if I were going blue-white, very slow, very traditional control, I'd probably do that. I might run Sensei's Divining Top anyway, if I have enough things that shuffle. Which I'm not sure I will, because there's not going to be fetch lands. I got 3 Sakura Tribelder. I'll probably run either Into the North or Farseek or Kodama's Reach. So, like, I'll have a few things. Ponder can shuffle. Ponder's weird with top, though, because you already know the top 3 cards of your library, so you actually don't get a ton of value off of its effect. I probably wouldn't run both. I don't know. But, yeah, that's like the general brief that I'm thinking about right now. Who are you playing against? I'm playing against Savvy and Mo. So, and let me check. I think... Mo is not banned out of anything. Yeah, Mo is not banned out of anything. Savvy's banned out of green. So the thing with Savvy is I had, the last week I was playing him, I had kind of discounted the likelihood he was gonna run back fairies, because he doesn't really like blue very much. But it seems as though that is the blue control strat that he's okay with, because it's, like, creature-based. More so than traditional blue control. So, like, normally I would say, oh, okay, it's Savvy, he's banned out of green, he's probably gonna play, like, I don't know, red aggro or something. And he might, but I really can't ignore the possibility now, in any given week, where he's not banned out of blue or black, that he's gonna bring fairies. So... Oh, you know who's so fucking awesome? This guy, who I also opened a playset of. I don't remember this card at all, but if you control a forest and a plains, which I'm gonna be in enough basic lands that that's gonna be trivial... this guy is just a free 2/3 reach with flash when you're attacked. So this guy is almost certainly going to be sideboard tech against fairies in particular, but really any aggro deck. A free 2/3 reach blocker out of nowhere you can play and still have mana up for, like, counter magic or whatever. Like, that's crazy. And he's definitely going to be in there. And of course, our good buddy Spike Feeder still exists because he was time shifted. He'll be in extended for a while. So I feel like I'm gonna have, between that and even if I don't play Wraths in the main deck, the ability to like board into a creature lighter, more traditional control strategy, I think I should be pretty well set against any aggressive creature strategy. Unless it's something really specific that blindsides me, like something with a ton of graveyard recursion, or something that goes super, super wide, like Saprolings again, where, you know, 1-for-1 removal like Bant Charm isn't going to be great. But Bant Charm can counter Sprout Swarm, and Wrath of God resets the whole board. Like, I'll have the tools to deal with a super wide strategy anyway, I think. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm usually a little more chill in the weeks when I know I'm not playing Karl, because Karl is a crazy wild card and I never have any idea what he's gonna do, and I'm frequently entirely blindsided. So that all being said, where are we at on creatures? Okay, so we got a sprinkling. The elders aren't really creatures. They're basically just rampant growth that block once. Yeah. Early turns, I'm probably looking to just ramp and mana fix. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it really does just come. Am I gonna play Wrath of God at all in the main deck? I also have this one Magus of the Disc, who is the Nevin Irel's Disc Magus, which is quite funny. I also wanted to look at whether I have anything good to get with Ranger of Eos, and by and large the answer is no. I can get Birds of Paradise, Ghostlit Redeemer. There's not many 1-mana creatures that do anything I care about right now, alas. Oh, here's another fun card I didn't remember existed. 3/3 flash for 4, gives you protection from the color of your choice until end of turn when he comes in. So he can blank a battle phase if all the creatures are the same color, or like counter a hand rip spell or anything else that's targeting you. Might sideboard him. But okay, let's try and be a little saucier. Instead of going Wrath of God spec, we're gonna ramp into some nice mid-range stuff. And have counter magic to help our slower starts. Yeah. And I've got a lot of good removal options, so I really don't need to hang my hat on the idea that I'm gonna, like, counter everything my opponent plays. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I tell you what can really fuck me is Bitter Blossom. That's like the card that worries me most, since Savvy's played it twice, and I believe he has 2 or 3 of them? I don't want to scroll back and look at in his most recent fairies list. Yeah. How many Bitter Blossoms? 3. Just the one Thoughtseize, though it was glued to his hand, as I recall. Yeah, Bitter Blossom is like my main concern. Most other things I have pretty good answers for. Bitter Blossom is a little harder for me to answer. Especially because unless I open my one Spell Snare and pull off the Karl, if Savvy's on the play, there is no way I can possibly have counter magic up for it. I might sideboard the one Spell Snare, or even just main deck it. It's gonna be live reasonably often. It's such a funny fuck you. No one expects just counter target spell when you've only got one blue open. Negate, maybe, also. Could be a good choice for sideboard. Negate's not great against fairies, though, because a lot of the cards you want to counter are creatures. Okay. For my own creature lineup, I think I want to play these Rox Warmonks. They're just so good for racing. They've got great stats for their cost. I'm not going to have it on turn 3 most of the time, because I need to find all 3 colors, and that's not always just gonna happen easily, but that's a very nice... You've, like, ramped once, and on turn 4 you play this with 2 mana back to, like, mana leak something. It's a pretty good one. Could play my one Windborn Muse. I don't think I've ever gotten to use this. That's not bad against Bitter Blossom, since it stops you from getting overwhelmed. I have 2 Rafik of the Many, somehow. I don't think he's great. He's funny if you play like a Rox Warmonk and then this guy on the next turn, and you get to attack for 8 damage with the Warmonk by itself and gain 8 life. Like, that's the dream. I just don't know how realistic that is. I suppose even if he's my only creature in play, he does still swing for 8. So, like, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. I guess he's good on the idea that maybe I don't want to commit a ton of creatures to the board if I might be, board wiping. Calciderm is just Blastoderm again in white, so he's pretty solid. Kind of looking for stuff that stops in the 4 mana-ish range. I didn't open any Kitchen Finks, which fucking blows, because I'd love them in this deck. They'd be amazing. Gain me life, trade with something, or even I can Wrath the board and they just come back and gain me more life. Like, oh. Delicious. Delightful. Delectable. Serra Avenger might be decent. I don't need to play it early. Later on, it's very easy to play without occupying mana that I want for, like, counter spells. So I might play the one Serra Avenger. The double white is a little... but it should be pretty easy with green as my core. Rafik is better with auras and equipments, yeah. Howdy to you, King9217. Oh, and I saw Barden asked, what's this? This is me making my deck for gathering cards tomorrow. I think Briarhorn's also a fucking house, by the... This guy's, like, good even by, like, modern limited standards. This guy's so fucking crazy. 3/3 for 4, flash, giant growth when it comes into play, and you can evoke it to just have a giant growth for only 2 mana if that's what you need. This guy was a fucking monster in limited, to the point that he might even be playable here in constructed. I think I've probably got better things to do, given that I'm not gonna ever really want to use him aggressively, but just wanted to give a shout out to my man Briarhorn for being fucking rad. Let's try the Serra Avenger. That goes well with counter magic. I don't want to load up on too many creatures, mind you. I guess there's also the question, do I need to play any giant motherfuckers to have as my, like, game-ending threats? Or am I fine just kind of playing mid-rangey dudes and, you know, getting rid of shit with, like, Bant Charm? I think I'm probably... I don't think I need many giant boys. You mainly need those when you're playing a deck that's super light on threats. And therefore you need you need to have cards that just win the game on their own in short order when played. Her. Spitting Image, also very funny card. Used to play this in my my EDH deck. I could probably get to 10 mana and play Time Stretch, but I don't think anything else in the deck specifically supports that. So probably not gonna do that one. Tell you what, let's... Seven mana, wipe the board, make 5 guys to immediately have the counter pressure. Pretty good. Supply Demand, a pretty fun card. It can be a win condition, can search me a handful of nice things. It can search me some of my creatures, it can search Bant Charm. It can search Wiltleaf Liege, which I might play. The soundtrack you're listening to, by the way, is the Endless Legend soundtrack. A small number of these tracks, like just 1 or 2, are on the Gathering Cards playlist. You might recognize some of them. My problem with Rafiq is that he's a 3/3 for 4, which is like fine, but he doesn't have any inherent value stapled onto him other than the potential to drop him and immediately get a surprise +1/+1 and double strike on a singular attacker, which isn't worth nothing, but he dies to Incinerate and doesn't give you anything if he just gets killed immediately, unlike a lot of these guys. It's kind of my hesitation with him. I tell you what, these guys are pretty cool also, but I can probably do better for 6 mana. Got a couple fun giant guys at the bottom of this. I think... Let's go with... How many sets Tigers do I have? It's like 2? 3. Wow, okay. Neat. I think... Let's go with... At the top end... Maybe we go Adarkar Valkyrie. That's a beater who's not terrible, even if you've boarded into, like, Wraths, since she can't save herself, but she can save one other creature through the Wrath, which is pretty strong. No. I have 4 spike feeders, right? I should make sure I'm keeping Twitch chat up here. Music choice is funny for me because I'm hearing 2 different Endless Legend tracks playing at the same time. Ah. You are partaking at the moment, I take it. Okay. So many good options in the, like, 4 mana range for creatures. How is one to choose? Okay, let's not dither for too long here. There's kind of a question of how much more do I even need? Most of these guys are, like, just what I've already got definitely is capable of chipping me to a win. As long as I can deal with other threats. I think I do still want to run the Valkyrie. As a win con that doubles as insurance against my own sweepers, should I end up running any. Don't have any recursion that makes the spike feeders better. Like, they're still good. And they're okay into sweepers. God, I wish I had Kitchen Finks. We finally reached the point in Magic's history when there are better things than Spike Feeder. If I had 4 Kitchen Finks, I'd just slam them in here and call it done. For creatures. So fucking good. Guardian Hulk, also pretty good into my own sweepers. Maybe worth playing for that reason. Windborn Muse, pretty good against fairies, good against aggro in general. Has evasion. Sure. Go with the Windborn Muse. I opened 4 Cataract Leviathans, and I'm not terribly happy about it. This is not a very good card. It's my first playset of a rare since fucking, Enduring Renewal. Which was at least a hilarious combo piece card to build around. Let's leave the creatures there for now. There's a lot of other stuff I need. Tell you what, I'll main deck Austere Command, because that's versatile. I can just wipe out the half of the creatures that I need to wipe out. It also gives me a way to deal with artifacts and enchantment. The Bant Charms can hit artifacts, but just having an insurance policy against Bitter Blossom is pretty nice. So we'll try that for main deck. I'll probably put the Wraths on the sideboard. I've already got some draw power. I might main deck Martial Coup also, since that's in a single card that can wipe the board and also set me up for a win condition. I love Primal Command. I don't think this is the right deck for it. It is also... It's not an answer to Bitter Blossom unless I have enough mana to Primal Command and then counter the Bitter Blossom when it gets replayed, so I don't think it's great for that. I suppose... Yeah, we'll go Bant Charms. And probably some combination of, like, Condemn and Reciprocate. 1 Reciprocate. Last Breath is more of a anti-other control decks card. Oh. I'm sorry, the crazy-ass rain has begun there, Oz. I hope you're at least covered as you wait for the bus. Under a thingy or carrying an umbrella. Sharing this from a recent Jello stream. Aram is not a modern man. Aram is a 1700s wheat baron transported into the body of a modern man. He was a petrified statue of a Gorgon before that. Aram is out of time. If any of our friends were a time traveler and was born in 17 whatever the fuck, Aram would be my first pick. Excellent. Main deck austere command. What is this, Commander? I know, right? I think it's... I don't know that it's optimal, but as far as sweepers that are less likely to be like, well, shit, I don't actually want to play this because it doesn't hit what I need it to hit, or it hits stuff I don't want it to hit. I think we'll go for that. Let's see. Yeah, Bant Charm answers anything 1-for-1, but it costs 3. I need some cheap stuff that, yeah, I need like Condemn or Reciprocate or something, because those can fit into my mana curve much more easily. Like, I can play a 2 or 3 mana creature and also be able to use one of those. We also have Path to Exile now, and I did open 3 copies of it, but I don't really want to play this against Mo and Savvy. Even like, just because it's Prague, people are very rarely not going to have basics, so you're pretty much never going to get a free exile on this. And the price is quite a bit steeper than a Swords to Plowshares at most phases of the game. Yeah, I think we want... maybe I'll just play 3-in-1. A pseudo playset. Those are probably my best options here. Devouring Light would be better if I were playing a lot of early creatures, but I'm not. Filigree Fracture, another good option to sideboard against Bitter Blossom. And there's also good old Krosan Grip, and just even gooder, even older Disenchant, I suppose. If I'm really paranoid about very specifically that. Yeah, let's go Condemn and Reciprocate. So we got plenty of 1-for-1 spot removal, albeit some of it only works on attacking creatures. But if my opponent gets to big mana to play big creatures, like, that's what my counter magic's supposed to be for. So, theoretically, most of the time that'll probably work okay. And for counter magic, which is probably almost the last stuff I can add, and I can't even add that much of it, I still kind of want one other piece of mana fixing. Let's see. I think what I'll do... Farseek... I have exactly 1 Temple Garden. I don't have any Hallowed Fountains or, breeding pools. For dual lands. So... And then I have 1 Arctic Flats and 1 Boreal Shelf that I can find with Into the North. Temple Garden's kind of nice because it means my, it makes it very easy to have my Qasali Ambushers live. So maybe I'll go Farseek. Yeah. Let's go... have 3. Let's go 2 Farseek to complement the Sakura Tribe Elders. And then I'll have 1 Temple Garden so it can find green. can't find a second green, unfortunately. But right now, I don't actually have any double green main deck, so I think that's okay. And then I'll just need to make sure to remember not to go too crazy on non-basics so that I can easily get the basics to have this live, assuming I do play this on the sideboard. Yeah, okay, so let's go with, can I make double blue for Logic Knot? How easily? Not super duper easy. It would be a lot easier if I had more shock lands. Got a Yavimaya Coast. Nimbus Maze. I have some non-basics to help me there, but I can't make it super early. I also don't really have any... It's a shame, because this is... If you have a decent amount of put stuff in the graveyard, either through just cycling through instants and sorceries or milling yourself, this is probably the closest thing we have to counterspell right now. But I don't think that's going to work quite often enough. The double blue is something I can probably have by, like, turn 4 most of the time, but, like, I'm not going to have it on turn... I'm not going to, you know, just go island, pass. Nor could I Logic Knot if I did. I'd have to have, like, blue source, turn 1 ponder, into then, like, turn 2 a second untapped blue source. Yeah, if I were heavier blue, I think I'd go Logic Knot, but as it is, I'll probably go Mana Leaks. Fuck it, let's play the 1 Spell Snare. And then I guess either Remove Soul or Negate. Rewind, maybe? Or just cancel. Hinder. They're not terrible. How many instants do I have that I might want to play after rewinding? Not that many right now, actually. I don't have, like... You know, rewind's great if your draw spell is, like, Factor Fiction or something. Yeah, Careful Consideration's not great in that regard. Yeah... I think I'll just, yeah. I think I'll go... I only have 1 hinder, right? Oh. Shit. It was still on a fucking... okay. Just added a Farseek. It still had, like, focus there. Where are you, hinder? Here we go. Why are you still adding Farseeks, you piece of shit? Alright. Add 1. Okay, yes. Indeed, I only have 1. Let's play the 1 hinder. Yeah, maybe negate. Because I've got a lot more creature removal than I have stuff that, like, you know, disenchants or, you know, can bounce any kind of permanent or whatever. Kinda just leaning on Austere Command for that right now. Oh, and that's 37 hours. Fuck me, I'm already... Okay. I've got 3 Banshee. Let's drop 1 Reciprocate. Just have the Condemns. So that puts me at 36. I feel like I want more of everything, and I can't have it. Hello to you, Teal Chorus. Let's take this as a starting point. You know what I might do? I might end up having to do the same thing I did Wizards Week. Put this back in, considering in case I want it later. Okay, yeah, that's the right printing. To considering. I might end up having to do what I did in Wizards Week and just say, fuck it, I'll play Singleton so that I can play more of the individual different cards that I want. It's definitely going to make a weaker deck, because, like, I won't be able to take advantage of the fact that I open 3 Bant Charms, and I won't be able to play both War Monks and stuff like that, but variety is the spice of life. That doesn't have any lands yet. What am I doing? Okay. So we went Farseek, so we're playing the Temple Garden. We'll play both Seaside Citadels, because that taps for all the colors I could possibly want. Let's see. I have, I think, 3 Treetop Village and 2 or 3 Fairy Conclave? 3. I don't need the manlands particularly much because I went the route that actually, like, has creatures. And the comes into play tapped is a bit of a liability, so I'm probably not going to play the Conclaves. I might play the Villages. Not everything needs to be reduced to 1. No. But it's no fun to be like, here's my Singleton deck. Except it's got 3 Bant Charms. You gotta, you know, if you're gonna do it, you gotta man up and go all the way. I think this is a time to play Reflecting Pool, actually, because I'll have a lot of lands that, like, tap for anything. And so the pool will usually just be an untapped tap for anything. Can I afford, like, can I get away with playing any V2 Gazis that only tap for colorless? It's a bit risky, and again, more appropriate to a version of this deck that is lighter on threats. I'm gonna want the Yavimaya Coast. I'm gonna want the Brushland. Might want the Wooded Bastion. But Wooded Bastion has a bit of a liability in it's got the same problem as Reflecting Pool. If you open it on its own, it doesn't give you any colors. Like, if I open Wooded Bastion Island, I'm gonna be like, well, fuck. It's not quite as good for fixing 3-color mana bases. It's great if you just have the 2 colors, and so this basically always fixes for you, because you'll always have something that taps for one of its colors. I think I'll go Chancery, Simic Growth Chamber. Do I have... That's right. I actually straight up never opened any Celestia Sanctuary, did I? I just don't have that one. Christ. Alright. I opened extra packs of Ravnica, too. I opened a total of 48 packs of Ravnica. Nary a fucking, Celestia Sanctuary to be had. There's also Bant Panorama, and of course there's Terramorphic Expanse. This does... Oh no, Basic Forest. Okay, yeah, so this cannot get... This cannot get my Shock Land. Mostly gonna be playing Forests, because Forests then get me the other stuff off of my mana fixing. Again, Nimbus Maze has a similar problem with Wooded Bastion. If I open Forest Nimbus Maze, it's pretty bad. It's a little bit less of a problem, because if I open Forest Nimbus Maze, I can still make the mana to get a rampant growth effect and fix the rest from there. But I do need basic, or not basic, but I need things that actually have the type island and the type plains. So this also is an anti-combo with the bounce lands, unfortunately. And, like, Painland, yeah, all this other stuff. Okay. Tell you what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna... What do I need early? I need the green early is the main thing. Blue for early Ponder is obviously nice for smoothing as well. Yeah, it's really white that I don't desperately need early in any but the most aggressive matchup where I'm, like, really leaning on playing Condemn on, like, turn 2. So... that being the case, I think Growth Chamber is maybe a little better than Chancery. This gives me both of those. Mind you, it only taps for mana starting on turn 3, so it's not great if you want the early Ponder or Rampant Growth effect. I'm gonna try... I have Reflecting Pool. Okay, so I have 2 Seaside Citadel, Temple Garden, Yawamaya Coast, Brushland. Oh, how silly of me. I didn't put the Vivid Lands in here. Which ones do I have? Crag, Grove, Marsh, Meadow. Okay, Grove, Meadow. Fix their printings. Lorwyn. These are, for most extents and purposes, just more... Seaside Citadel is better, because I only need these 3 colors of mana, but these pretty much do the same thing. And having these makes my reflecting pools a lot better. Yeah, if I'm gonna play comes into play tapped lands, these are probably the right ones, and I only have 1 of each anyway. Okay, that's a decent amount of fixing among my different colors. I think I'm gonna give the bounce lands a miss for now. Can I afford the villages? Hard to say. I can give it a try, I guess, and see if I'm hitting too many comes into play tapped lands when I'm goldfishing this. Let's try Treetop Villages main deck. I'm gonna leave the rest of this out because I don't know if I can afford things that tap for colorless. I need to see how the color fixing situation looks. Plains, Island, Forest... Hey, Aram, how's it going? It's going okay. Panorama for Goyf. Oh, Panorama for Goyf. That's an interesting... That's quite Gigabrain. On the other hand, I only have 1 Goyf, so that interaction's not going to come up super often. I'd probably just play Terramorphic Expanse instead of Panorama, actually. But... that is a reasonable argument for running one of those, I suppose. Howdy, Aram. Been loving beginning of the end. Thank you. I'm glad. What forests do I want this week? Did I show off the Alara lands last time? I'm pretty sure I did. Although it was different ones. Oh, that is a very handsome forest. Yeah, sure. We'll do Alara basics. We'll be on theme. We got what looks like an Esper Island. They're probably all Esper Islands, I suppose. Oh yeah, this very distinctive island. Do they have one with a more vibrant color? Probably not, since it's Esper, but... yeah, no, not really. What is this? What does this look like? Whoa. That's wacky. The sky with the grid lines drawn on it. I designed my world's sky in CAD. You know what? Sure, yeah, we'll go with that one. And then... It's thinking. There we go. Alara. That's pretty boring. Ooh. Yeah, let's go with this so that the color scheme is nice and distinct from the forest. Okay. I'm not quite sure what the ratios should be here. What does this say about my symbols? Yeah, green actually doesn't... There's not a huge number of green symbols, but green is what I need to get the other stuff reliably, so I think we're still gonna go for a good amount. All of my non-basics tap for green. Brushland Coast, Garden, then, yeah, everything else, so... 1, 2, 3, effectively 8 lands that only tap for green. Honestly, I can probably go a little less than that. Let's go 4 forests. 1, 2, 3, 4 islands. 1, 2, 3. Let's go 3 plains, 1 more forest, 1 more island. Let's try that to start with. Okay. Gonna export this. I guess I need to switch us over to Cockatrice. Damn, are we gonna get the never-before-seen pairing of Cockatrice plus webcam? Big if true. Where are you? Cockatrice... with webcam? Copy this. Put this in here. Okay. Alright. I need to load the deck. Webcam is making it hard for me to see the bar here. Okay, there we go. Okay, save this. This is Prague. 49. Conflux. And... I don't know. I'll just call it Bant for now. Okay. Let's see how the old girl treats me if I just goldfish this a bit. Just gonna put OBS up here so I can see this while I've got the full screen things occurring. There we go. Alright. Yeah, that's actually quite a solid hand to start off with. Yeah, we probably go turn 1 Ponder here. We'll look at the top 3. I don't think we want any more lands right now, so probably take the... Oh, wait, no, that's not how this card works. This is not Sleight of Hand. Do I want to shuffle? No, the Spell Snare is probably pretty good for early game. So I'd probably order them like that. I draw the Spell Snare. Untap. Draw the Vivid Grove, and then I can get rid of the last land if I Sakura Tribe Elder here. Go and get a Plains. Shuffle, untap, draw. Alright, I draw a forest anyway. Okay, we're flooding a bit here, but we do have some pretty good stuff against an imaginary opponent. We get this out. Maybe we Spell Snare something. We're early enough in the game. Okay, that makes it a lot better. Yeah, just go Hierarch, Vivid Grove. Okay, we draw some gas. Yeah, that looks, it's still a little, this one goes a little land heavy, but it's playable. Let's try another. Yeah, this is playable. Vivid Grove, Island, Elder, Sack for a Plains. Untap, draw. Beautiful, we have a 4th land. Depending on the game state, maybe I hold back for Mana Leak or Bant Charm, maybe I just run out the War Monk. Let's say I research here, discard a land, play the Temple Garden, I can use this to condemn something. Okay, yeah, this hand works pretty well. I think the big questions we're trying to answer are we okay for what the fuck is this hand? 3 Nevin Irals discs, please. The questions we're trying to answer are we okay for colors? And in fact, are we so okay that we can afford to run 1 or 2 lands that only tap for colorless? And then the other question is, how is our distribution of, like, reactive cards to our threats? Because we're not running much for giant win the game on their own threats. We're more mid-rangey. Is this gold fishing for the next gathering cards? That's exactly what it is. Ugh, live deck building followed by gold fishing. I don't know that I would keep this hand since 3 Bant Charms is a little one note. Citadel and Reflecting Pool is like the best first 2 lands I could hope for, mind you. Yeah, that's probably not one you super want to keep though. Ooh, okay, yeah. I'm encouraged by the frequency with which we are finding 2 lands plus a rampant growth effect that gets us into 3 colors immediately. We probably get the 1 Temple Garden here. Depending on what's going on the board, we either play the Brushland and have Mystic Snake, or we play the Citadel and have these. Either way, let's just say for the sake of argument... Oh, I don't have double blue for Mystic Snake, no. Okay, so I guess I do play the Citadel here. Let's assume I Mana Leak something, because we're early. Draw, okay, that's not a bad one. Ponder. Look at the top 3. I have the double blue now for the Clique. Yeah, I probably... Yeah, I think I keep these. Let's do this. I guess I actually want the Spell Snare on top, though, because I can't play the Clique this turn, whereas I can play the Spell Snare if I draw it. Play that. I can animate Treetop Village, potentially, depending on what's going on. More likely, I end up playing the Bant Charm here. Draw. Clique, Mystic Snake, 2 counters. Like, this looks pretty good. The only issue is, I'd say the only issue is that my mid-rangey things don't apply the same kind of pressure that, bigger boys would. But let's say I Clique here. Can't do any of these. I'm a little blue constrained right now. Either Clique or I Mystic Snake if I have to there. Yeah, this one worked okay. Let's go another. Yeah, this is fine, because I've got Ponder to smooth this out. Seaside Citadel, we Ponder here, look at the top 3. Great. We actually do want lands, I think. I'm gonna draw one of these. Which one do I want? Probably Vivid Meadow Island is best for the total spread of colors. Yeah, let's do that. We draw, play the Vivid Meadow. Untap, draw. And now we're into, it depends what's going on. But I have many options now. I can play anything other than the Hierarch I can play here. So, and it's a good mix of proactive and reactive cards. So I'm just gonna pronounce this one a winner, a keeper, a good one. No blue mana to get to the Warmonk or the Compulsive Research, but I do have something to buy time, and I'm fine on white and green. Realistically, being the greedy sort that I am, I probably would keep this and see how it goes. That doesn't help. Forest. Okay, yeah, we get punished here. Oof. Oh my god, we get punished so bad that we end the game without playing a spell, probably. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we don't get that greedy, sir. Got the white mana off Brushland. Yeah, this looks okay. Yeah, just go like that. Draw. Draw. Yeah, play the Brushland. Most of the time, I'd probably have to take one and Bant Charm something here. And only, yeah. Probably I pass here and like trade the Clique for something, get the Hand Rip. And then here, I want to keep mana up for the mana leak, so let's draw 3. I'm fine on green and blue, so we can discard the coast, play the forest, and either we keep mana leak up or we play one of these rampant growths. Okay, that one works okay. Colors seem to be usually alright here. The ponders and the rampant growths obviously help a lot. The compulsive research is doing an okay job of keeping us having gas. Slightly slow start here with the 2 tap lands, but not a huge deal since we have turn 3 Warmonk or Bant Charm. Yet feeling very compulsive. This is actually a case where I probably keep the land and discard things that aren't lands. And then I've got the Ponder. Yeah, I think my only concern is I don't know if we have enough going on with our mid-range dudes to be okay not playing Wrath of God. We got 3 Bant Charm, 3 Condemn, and the counter magic, and all of that trades 1 for 1. So we're not gonna get to plus off of that removal. We only get to plus off of, like, Austere Command. Which puts me right back to, do I play... I could play fewer, bigger threats, since green helps me get there. And then play Wrath of God, main deck. I think this works okay. Just not sure if it's the best, you know? I'm also not sure about Hinder. The double blue is not easy to make on turn 3. It's not something you have to play on turn 3, I guess. I'm also not totally sold on main deck Spell Snare. There's probably people this is better or worse against. I think I probably will move that to the sideboard. I didn't remember there being lyrical songs on this soundtrack. From Dawn to Dusk, Gary's version. Oh, I see. It's Gary's version. That explains it. I get it. I don't get it. Okay, the words are making it too hard for me to think, so we're gonna move on. Sorry, Gary. Your singing was fine. It's just not what I wanted in this moment. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna have to think about. Good thing it happened here and not on stream. I mean, it's not on my playlist for stream. I vet all the songs that are gonna go on that to make sure they don't, like, suddenly take a turn into something that's gonna be too hard to think through, or is too loud or whatever. But yes. Mystic Snake is also feeling a little rough in 3-color. All the double blue stuff is feeling a little rough right now. A lot easier to hit the single blue for, like, Compulsive Research and Mana Leak. What do we do? What do we do? Yeah, the lack of sweepers is troubling me more than I thought it would. I 1-for-1 with all their guys, and then they've got one more guy than I have removal. And it's like a real guy. You know, it's like a 6/6 or whatever. It's a dragon. All of my creatures aren't gonna be able to match that. Other than maybe, Where'd she go? Oh, she's in my hand, that's why. Other than maybe the Valkyrie. So I could go for a more control-y main deck with sweepers. And then have stuff like Rock's Warmonk in the sideboard. If I'm playing against another very slow or creature light deck and I just want a threat I can put out with, like, also having counter magic up. And I can fight those kinds of decks much better anyway with stuff like Treetop Village. I have to worry about spot removal, of course, but, like, I can build extra threats in a little more easily than I can deal with having nothing that trades for more than one of my opponent's cards. Because that's the real concern that I'm feeling here. The only thing that pluses me is Compulsive Research. It's not like I've got, you know, Fact or Fiction or Opportunity to lean on to just massively replenish my hand. I suppose I could also, I could consider... Let's go back to here, shall we? I could consider... I have some more draw power. I have... Mind Spring, 1 copy. It's just Brain Geyser again. They gave it a different name. So, like, obviously that can just, you know, entirely refill you on gas in a stalled-out, resource-starved game state. I also have Harmonize. I don't think I need it. I think Compulsive Research is probably going to be better most of the time. Because it's very easy to find a card, a land to pitch to Compulsive Research. The fact that it costs 1 less in a deck where I'm trying to keep up mana for, like, Mana Leak and shit is significant. In which case, maybe we're looking at... There aren't even that many creatures for me to cut, TBH. I guess maybe we move out Avenger, Warmonk. Like, Goyf is just too good to cut. Doesn't even fucking matter if you're playing Wrath of God. In a deck where you want to ideally play something and then have mana up for, like, an instant, or, like, Compulsive Research and then play something, being able to make it a 2 mana, like, 4/5 is just kind of nutty. Maybe we move the Clique out, because the double blue makes it kind of hard. And maybe the snakes, although if we take the snakes out, we're also cutting counter magic, not just creatures, so... I don't know, yeah, there is not much that I'm okay to happy with cutting here. Feels like we've got the right amount of rampant growth to get our colors. You can tell Aram is serious because he's taking the glasses on and off, yeah. Like a cool anime guy. If I do the little... Yeah, they're not sitting low. If I do the push glasses up thing. Hang on. Let me see if I can... Oh, hey, if I look at exactly this direction, you can see my ring light. If I do shiny. Shwing. Hard. Difficult. Difficult and hard. Okay. You're gonna go to the sideboard, Spell Snare. You're gonna go to the sideboard, Warmonk. This is a neat idea. I don't think she fills that role as good as Tarmogoyf. Also, double white is not trivial, so we'll put you back to considering. Double white's not trivial for something that is just white. It bothers me less on a Dark Hair Valkyrie, because I can't cast that till turn 6 anyway. Windborn Muse, fun idea. Maybe sideboard. I'm gonna put you in considering for now. And maybe the Clique as well. As good as this is, this would be way better if I were just in blue-white. And the double color. Or just in blue-green. And the double color was not gonna bug me. I mean, I could demote one of my colors to a splash. You can't really splash green for mana fixing, but I could demote, like, white to a splash, cut everything that's double white, and then the double blue stuff would be a lot easier. But the stuff that I most want from white is the sweepers that are all double white, so I don't think that makes a lot of sense. And it's if white's your splash, you're never gonna be able to rely on having early white for, like, Condemn, so that's not great. Hello, Tomaldine Laughlin. Hello, Harlow Queen, actor. I wonder if this is just too much 1-for-1, and I should actually be looking to remove some of this stuff for sweepers instead. Let's see, I put those to sideboard, I cut 2 of those other creatures. I mean, that does free up enough space for me to just bring in 4 Wrath of God if I want to, I suppose. But it's not just the sweepers. If I'm cutting creatures, then the things that are staying as win conditions have to be proportionately more powerful. They need to be on the level of, like, you will answer this card or you will lose the game, as opposed to just like, yeah, this is a 3/4 lifelink. Valkyrie probably fits that profile. The Valkyrie profile, if you will. I'm never making triple blue for Arcanus. I'm never making triple white for Purity. Double white for Yosei, maybe. He's neat. Protean Hulk isn't too bad. Into Wrath, I suppose. These guys are really cool for card advantage, but if I'm investing 6 mana in them in a constructed deck, they kind of need to do more than just get, like, they need to actively win the game instead of just like, yeah, you can attack for 3 and then also get a free card. I suppose Rafik of the Many does threaten more than most of my guys, and he's still only 4 mana. Maybe we go back to him. I don't know. Or we just go singleton. I can't play what I can't just play everything I want. I have to find one-offs. That's gonna... Oh, the counter magic's gonna be so miserable in Singleton, though. There's so few things I want to play. And playing stuff like Mana Leak at 1 is awful, because you're... Half the time, you're gonna draw it on turn 10 and be like, wow, thanks, Mana Leak. Right on time, buddy. I don't know. What do we think, chat? Give me a vibe check. What would you guys do? My vibe is having some tea. Fair answer. A fair answer, to be sure. What would the mana fixing look like in Singleton? Sakura Tribe Elder, Farseek, Into the North, Rampant Growth, Kodama's Reach? I guess those are 5 reasonable cards. Rampant Growth is kind of just strictly worse than Into the North or, Farseek here, but it's still fine, I guess. Oh, Hurricane. I should remember that for the sideboard against fairies also. I don't know. I don't know. John Lennon? My vibe is Stabby Scream. I see. I don't particularly understand MTG, but I have heard counter spells are useful. They certainly can be. Hulk, Yosei, both have pretty good, I guess like a Deadwood Tree Folk, maybe? At worst, he gets back a Sakura. He's not much for stats, but for advantage, he is quite good. And makes it easier to not dick yourself by wrathing away your own creatures. Yeah, maybe we just go for larger lads. Calciderm, also not a bad option if we want to go that route, but double white could be a little... Get some large lads. Have some fun with it. Everybody loves a good large lad. Nobody loves getting counterspelled. Spitting Image could be a good large lad substitute for late game. Kind of depends a little bit on your opponent having good creatures too. He's pretty shit if you don't have anything good to duplicate from your own board. Okay. I think I am slowly coming around to a decision. I don't have to worry about playing Carl this week. I think we're gonna get fun and fancy free. I don't want to lose this version of the deck. So we're gonna duplicate this before we make more changes. Let's see what a singleton build would look like. Which does also have the nice side effect of making it so that I don't have to look up how many of different things you know what, just okay. Let's just empty the deck. We'll start over, because it's gonna change a few of the fundamentals. Bulk edit. Move these all back to considering. These also. Get them out of here. Okay. The other nice thing about Singleton is if I handicap myself a little and then eat shit and die, I can be like, yeah, well, I was playing Singleton, so, you know, blah, blah, blah. Okay. My 5 Farseeks that I don't own. Okay. So, mana fixing first. We can only have 1 Farseek. We can have 1 into the north, so our basics are going to be snow. We can have 1 Rampant Growth. We can have 1 Kodama's Reach. We can have 1 Sakura Tribe Elder. And those aren't the only ones that exist, but these are probably the best ones. So I think, and 5 seemed like a reasonable number from our previous playtesting, so I think I'm just gonna stick with this for now. Any guesses from the hip as to what Savvy or Mo might play this week? Not really. Mo isn't banned out of anything, and when Mo can do whatever she wants, the most common thing for her to go for is something with green. But Mo likes to do weird shit from time to time. You never know when she's gonna go back on, like, I want to steal or something. And Savvy is banned off of green, so my first guesses would be, like, an aggressive deck with red and possibly some other color. Like, maybe he'll run back elementals or play goblins. Or, you know, just like a generic red aggro deck. Or fairies. Just fairies again, especially if he decides... Because the last times he's taken fairies out, I think he's lost with it so far exclusively, but, like, kind of in an improbable way, where he probably should have at least 1 or 2 wins with that by now. He's had very, very close matches. And so he might be hungry to run that back and try and finally get a good week with it. Especially if he decides, well, if I'm gonna run it back, I'll do it, you know, I'll invest a little more in it. So he might pick up the 4th Bitter Blossom and buy, like, you know, he could, for all I know, he could spend his picks, come back with a play set of Bitter Blossom and Thoughtseize, which will be a fucking nightmare. And I probably can't beat. Even if I weren't playing Singleton. Playing fairies, even without, like, all the best fairies, you know, not a playset of Vendilion Clique, not, Sower of Temptation. Like, there are some rare fairy cards that Savvy probably still wouldn't have, but just having to fight through a playset of Thoughtseize and Bitter Blossom is more than most prog decks can probably stand up to. So if that happens, I probably lose no matter what. But I don't know. I could see him doing that, or maybe he'll do something else. But either way, I'm probably going to have fairies in mind with some of my choices, like Ambusher, maybe Hurricane, maybe Spell Snare. Just, you know, ways to answer flying creatures and Bitter Blossom, chiefly. So we'll see. Okay, so if we go Rampant Growth Effects, we got 5. We're gonna need some card draw. We get our 1 Compulsive Research. Sure, let's play 1 Ponder and 1, I think I also have... Sleight of Hand is in either 9th or 10th, I'm pretty sure. It is in 9th, okay, yeah. Yeah, you know what, give me a black-bordered 9th edition Sleight of... Oh, that's the foil, okay, I don't know how that's gonna look in Cockatrice, I don't want to get something weird, so... We're just gonna... We'll use a regular Uggo white-bordered 9th edition one. Ponder, Sleight of Hand, Compulsive Research. Ancestral Vision's pretty funny. Could do it. Let's go Harmonize for just bulk card draw. Let's try 1 Mind Spring. And... Sure, we'll try the 1 Ancestral Vision. It's funny. Okay, that's probably all we can afford for card draw for now. The only other remotely appeal, I guess there's Whispers of the Muse has a certain appeal. That certainly gives us a late game thing to do. Yeah, it's pretty much just that Overwhelming Intellect, which we might play because we're gonna be scraping around. Oh, Telling Time also is not bad as just like an impulse variant. That's a decent substitute. It's just its effect is not the strongest as impulse variants go, because you have to take 2 of the cards, so it's the filtering effect is like barely any better than Ponder, to be honest. So it's like fine. It's not amazing. Yeah, it's pretty much just that. Think Twice is okay, but it's mainly there for if you have ways to, like, mill or discard it, and we won't have a ton if we're not playing more than 1 Compulsive Research. There's Sift. Sadly, Concentrate is not in Extended right now. Where did Sift go? That's a sorcery, right? Yeah, there's Sift, which is kind of just Compulsive Research, but it costs 4. And then there's Council, which is Compulsive Research, but you dig less, so it's not quite as good. Yeah, let's leave it at that for now, I think. We've got some cheap filtering card draw and some things that can draw substantially more. You know, for deep draw, so it's not too bad. Okay, so that's our fixing and draw. So then... yeah, I mean, I guess we kind of still, to some extent, have the question of what are we playing in the way of, sweepers? Are we doing sweepers at all? I think we can afford to. I think we can try and go, like, big mana, and we'll focus on creatures. For creatures that cost... For creatures that are cheap enough that we're gonna play them and potentially, like, have a Wrath of God in our hand and have to deal with that awkwardness, we're gonna try and restrict ourselves to things that are really, really good and justify doing that. So, Tarmogoyf still goes in. Tarmogoyf still goes in. He is not sitting on the bench. Court Husser is actually pretty good here. He basically is a mini Impulse with a 1/3 Vigilance stapled to him. So we don't care about wrathing him away. He's already given us benefit. He's kind of just there to slow our opponents down and make them commit more so that we can kill more with a Wrath. This mid-range is probably we're mostly going to stay out of now. We're going to go bigger, I think. Actually, yeah, rather than playing Council, Muldrifter is pretty much strictly better. As you can pay him for more expensive and get a 2/2 out of the bargain. So he'd be an okay choice if we wanted, like, one more draw. These guys might actually be playable if we're confining ourselves to Singleton. In the mid-range, yeah, we want just value creatures that do stuff already when you play them. So, like, we probably still want to play Loxodon Hierarch. You don't feel too bad about having to wrath him away because he already gained you 4, and he can usually, like, trade with shit first anyway. Mystic Snake, maybe. Probably, yeah. Like I said, there's so little good counter magic, and I haven't gotten to play Mystic Snake yet. Yeah, sure. We'll still play the Mystic Snake at 1. Most of this other stuff, probably not. Potentially... yeah, we'll go Magus of the Disc. We'll try him in there. He's a board wipe. He's not a creature. He's only incidentally a creature. But he gives me another way to answer Bitter Blossom. And then at the upper end, let's go... I guess, yeah, let's just play creatures that kind of have observance of the fact that we may need to Wrath. So Valkyrie is still pretty good, I think. Deadwood Treefolk might be worth playing now, but I'm not sure if we'll have enough creatures. Protean Hulk is pretty good. He can turn into interesting combinations of creatures, but he can also just turn into another big creature. You know, you can drift Protean Hulk into, like, Yosei or Valkyrie, and you're not going to be unhappy at all, so... he's pretty good. Valkyrie and Hulk both mean you can Wrath away the board and then immediately have a threat without having to then, you know, play another card manually. This is our boy Yosei's last week in Extended. Let's try him out. Let's go Protean Hulk. I might play Arbiter of Knollridge. He is very funny. And since now I'm not playing much in the way of mid-rangey creatures... it's not likely my opponent will have taken much damage, so probably if I get to 7 mana and play this guy, I'm gonna reset to almost 20. Which is quite funny. Maybe we play the Skyward Eye Prophets just for flavor, because it's Bant. You know. Wouldn't say we have much to justify Experiment Kraj, because we don't have creatures with activated abilities much, or, you know, not ones that are good to duplicate. At Arkar Valkyrie, I guess. That's pretty much it. A shame. He is funny. Could play, like, Body Double or something. But he's a little specific. No Duplicant, sadly. Duplicant has rotated out of Extended. Alcitor might be playable because it vanishes eventually anyway, so it doesn't disincentivize wrathing as much. Oh, we should play one Spike Feeder. We don't give a shit about wrathing him away. Viper, more probably a sideboard card here. We could plausibly still play the Clique, I suppose. Yeah, we're still a little light on the giant bunglers. Like, you don't want too many, because you don't want them clogging your hand early, but we want to make sure to have gas. Call of the Herd could be playable. It's not as good for us, but it's still not bad. Our mana is kind of all over the place. We've got... If we bring in, like, Wraths and shit, we're gonna have a kind of alarming need for double color in, like, all of our colors. Unfortunately. But, I don't think there's a way around that. Kinda just gonna have to live with that. We can still play most of our fixing, I suppose, because we didn't have more than one copy of most of it. I'll be sad to go down to one Seaside Citadel, because that's, like, the best one by far. But the Vivid Lands do an okay job anyway, and Reflecting Pool helps with the double costs, I suppose. Let's see. Oh, I also forgot our boy Faith's Fetters. Yeah. Oblivion Ring also exists now. It's a little better in Limited, but it might be playable here. Oh, that's right, my mobilization is foil, which is very funny. I didn't really look at the enchantments before. Yeah. Oh, we could play our steel cards now. That's a removal and a threat. Her. Could do. Yeah, let's look for our, 1-for-1 removal and counter magic next, because we're gonna need a lot of it. 1 Condemn. We're gonna go back to playing the 1 Reciprocate. God, am I gonna play Judge Unworthy? Surely not. Surely we're not betting it all on fucking Clash-style mechanics here. Yeah, no, that's a little too unreliable, I think. We'll put in our 1 Bant Charm. Maybe we play the Resounding Silence? Is Chastise legal? It's not great. It's a little expensive. Yeah, it's in 9th edition. Okay. So, I can play that. Gain some life. This one instead. You can do the big boy version. If I had anything that was particularly good with Aether Mage's Touch, this is also a really cool card that I would still like to use someday. Let's see. We're gonna play Remove Soul. We're gonna play Negate. We're probably gonna play... What happened to... Oh, it's just right here. For some reason, I didn't think they'd be on the left. Let's play Overrule? The card's okay. Cancel and hinder, I guess? Maybe? I don't know if they're gonna work often enough. In the sense of have the double blue up. Logic Knot's probably like the last decent option. Where would that put us for counter magic? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Mystic Snake. You can stretch and count Bant Charm. I guess it's not that big of a stretch. You'll use it as a flash counter sometimes. I guess that's enough. Can't afford much more anyway. We're at 29 main deck cards already. So, yeah. Let's go, we're still gonna play the Austere Command. Let's play... one Wrath of God. Let's play our one Martial Coup. That's a sweeper that can also make a win condition. Cards that can do more than one thing, or always do more than one thing, are really the lifeblood of your deck succeeding more often than it fails. I thought I understood that properly, but there was a week long ago, I think it was like Invasion Block abouts, where I played a blue-black-red control deck, and really kind of fell over and ate shit, and when I was sort of analyzing what went wrong afterward, I realized it was because I had too many of my cards did exactly one thing. And so if I didn't draw the right ratio of different kinds of cards, I would just not be able to get anywhere. I had cards that were counter magic, I had cards that were removal, I had cards that were threats, and there was basically no overlap between them. And so if I didn't draw exactly an average ratio, I was just missing an entire component of my game plan. So I have come to really appreciate stuff like this, or, this, or, whatever. Things that do double duty or give you choices, so that they can be whatever thing you haven't drawn anything else of. I guess we could play Rafik of the Many. He's certainly a significant threat by himself, and can very greatly augment the threat capacity of a single other threat. Anything else from this upper range? Arbiter Norwich, maybe. He pretty funny. Pretty funby. Got our one spike feeder, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got that. We got the Court Husser. Yeah, we have a small number of early drops we can use to gum up the works, and other than Tarmogoyf, none of them are things that are gonna get underfoot if we have to Wrath. Wrath of God, Austere Command, Martial Coup, and Magus of the Disc. I don't think I have any other sweepers that I could play, even if I wanted to. Yeah. Maybe now is the time for Primal Command. This is kind of nice, because you can make your opponent skip a draw, effectively, by putting something back on top of their deck. It doesn't really answer it, unless you also have mana up to counter, which I usually won't. But it is nice for tempo there. Gaining 7 life can also be nice for tempo, and tutoring any creature means that also doubles as a, you know, finds one of our giant guys, so this also gets us into something powerful. Do we have enough different targets for supply demand to justify it? We have a couple. I mean, supply is fine on its own, but you could just play Martial Coup and wipe the board before making X11s, which will usually be better. It's worth... It's not bad. I'm not sure it's worth playing. I'm very happy I opened 2 Primal Command. I remain, however, a little sad that I didn't open any Cryptic Command. Oh god, I forgot Savvy's also got like 3 of those. Yeah, he's like a shockingly small number of cards off of just like actual competitive fairies. Tell you what, this is removal and also draw. We're gonna put in Overwhelming Intellect as a big, it's like strong enough that it almost functions as a bomb in its own right. Let's put in Faith's Fetters. That's nice and versatile. Persuasion, Take Possession, maybe, as the last 2, because those are both threats and removal, more or less. Yeah, this is not gonna be as good as a deck with 3 Condemns against, like, really fast aggro, but this deck definitely gets more value per card than the variant we were looking at before. 7 mana might be a bit of an ask for 24 lands and just 5 rampant growth effects, so I'm not sure if I want to play Take Possession or not. Let's see if there's anything... Do I have enough shuffling to play Sensei's Divining Top? Kura Tribe Elder. We got 5 rampant growths. Ponder, sort of. Yeah, God, it would be so much better with Fetch Lands. No, I don't think I want to play the Divining Top. I'm going to be super mana. Like, I'm going to have so many comes into play tapped lands with this version of the deck. I don't think I can afford it. Yeah, I think what I'll do is last card. Let's go with... Ah, hell. I'll go with Primal Command. Nothing beats that. Plus, he has a friend now. These double blues are so unmakeable. I'm not sure I can afford them, but we'll try. We'll see if it works. Or can be made to work. Okay, so we got Into the North, so we're playing the Arctic Flats and the Boreal Shelf. All our basics are gonna be snow. Fuck it, let's play the Vitu-Ghazi. Probably not gonna play this. It's insanely expensive to use the effect, so you're usually not gonna. I could play Mouth of Ronom if we're going Snowlands. That lets me pack in one more removal spell. You know what? Now that I need other shit, maybe I do play the Bant Panorama now. Play that. Let's go. Okay, we still play the Vivid Lands for sure. Vivid Lands, Reflecting Pool, Coast, Brushland. Oh, yeah. Seaside Citadel. Temple Garden. I guess I will play the Wooded Bastion now. It is nice because if you have this plus a green source, it gets you double white by itself, which is pretty nice for hitting my Wraths and such. Are all my white cards double white? No, it's I've got a couple of the spot removals, but I have a worrying amount of double white things. Any mana artifacts that are worth playing? These aren't terrible, I guess. But I'll see how the lands do by themselves. I guess I play a Nimbus Maze now. Play a Bant Panorama. This only needs one snow mana to activate, right? Okay. Play Urza's Factory. Super late game insurance. I don't think anyone's going to be playing a control-specific deck in, like, control-ish enough deck to justify that. Like, I just don't think I'll need it. Since I need to get to bigger mana, now I guess I will play these Ravnica lands. God, like, all my lands come into play tapped. This is alarming. Terramorphic Expanse, I guess. Hey, I've got 2 things that can be lands in the graveyard for Tarmogoyf. Sure, 10th edition. This isn't good enough to justify playing it, I don't think. Yeah, we'll play, let's play 1 Treetop Village. I guess I'll play a Treetop Village and a Fairy Conclave. We'll see. And yeah, you know what? I'll try Mouth of Ronom. Yeah, okay. That's only 2 lands that tap for colorless. That and Vitu-Ghazi. We'll see if that kills me. Kills me dead. Snow-covered forest. Snow-covered plains. Snow-covered island. Okay. Snow-covered forest. Don't want Cold Snap. What are the OG ones? Ugh, the OG ones are kind of uggo. Yeah, we'll go Cold Snap. Cold Snap. Cold Snap. And I think, let's look at the mana symbol count again. It's actually quite evenly divided now. But the green is probably still most important. So we're gonna go, where the fuck am I? Yeah, here we go. We're gonna go, oh. Oh, wow. There's like almost no room left for basics. Holy fuck. So many non-basic lands. Well, I need to have at least one of each for sure to get off of Into the North, even though I'll usually be getting it to get one of these. I'm just gonna play 3 forests, I think. Added 1 Primal Command. Oh, get off this stupid fucking... Add 1 snow-covered forest, please. Okay, this still shows at 1. I guess I was adding 1 to, like, considering or whatever. Okay. Let's see how this plays. Okay. Let's load from clipboard. Love looking at singleton deck lists in this. Save this as Bant Singleton. See how this goes. No, that's still 3 condemns. This is not. Hang on, did I just load the wrong deck? Maybe. Start local game. Ah, yes. Okay, here we go. Alright, what are we looking at? A hand that can't play any of its spells. God, this is crying out for a rampant growth. And it also has no blue mana. Yeah, no, I don't think I'd be keeping that. That's an awkward as hell mana curve, but it does actually go somewhere, so yes, this is functional. We go... This is really funny. I could straight up play Reflecting Pool that taps for nothing. And it might actually be the right play, because then if I draw... You know what? Yeah. Turn 1 Reflecting Pool. Oh! The best to ever do it. Into the north. Get me this fucking thing, and look at that. That's the kind of fucking next level. Actually, it doesn't even matter. The Mouth of Ronom would have worked for that too. Alright, that wasn't a play, but it was funny. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, this actually is almost, this is like amazing. Turn 2, this is turn 3, so if I had to, I could go Mouth of Ronom, Fetters. I could even go Mouth of Ronom, Wrath of God, thanks to the Reflecting Pool. I've got this. Okay, yeah, well, I'm not even gonna bother drawing further. That's a great hand. With the top deck of the Forest, admittedly, but I would only have had a slightly more awkward curve if I'd had to rely on the Growth Chamber for that. Farseek, Wrath of God, 5 lands. Ugh. I mean, if you're gonna have one non-land card, a Wrath of God's a decent one, but I probably would mulligan this. Does get to turn 3 Wrath, which is pretty nice. It would probably depend on the opponent whether I would keep this or not, but for now, let's call that a mulligan. That's a little mana floody. Yeah, this works. Boreal Shelf. We probably go... Depending on this taps... Yeah, if I need the remove soul up, I could have the remove soul up here, but we probably most of the time are gonna go ponder. With what else this hand has... Do I want these? This is a little early in the game to draw either of these cards. Although, let's see, this is turn 2. I'm going to be playing that. Turn 3, Kodama's Reach at a 5 mana. Turn 4... I think I need action instead. These are 3 non-lands, but they're not action I can play right now, so I'd probably shuffle there. Draw. Okay. Worse things to draw. Play the Fairy Conclave. Draw. Yeah, that's a lot better, actually. Tap 3. I can play the Spike Feeder if I need it. I probably usually go Reach here for Forest. Do I need another Plains? Do I just go Forest Island? I guess with these, I've actually got a lot of white mana if I need it. Yeah, I guess I go Forest Island. Island to hand. I might have to cut some non-basics just because otherwise I could very easily run out of basic lands to fetch with rampant growth effects. Oh, yeah, where the fuck's my one snow-covered island? There we are. And, yeah, I probably do need to cut some non-basics just because otherwise rampant growth effects could be dead later on in the game. Okay, yeah, this isn't too bad. This is Turn 4, and we're going Spike Feeder with remove soul mana, and then we've got an overwhelming intellect. Yeah, that works okay. The mid-range feels a little lacking here now. I kind of ramp, but then I'm ramping to stuff that costs like 6. I suppose that's what this part of the deck is for. Counter magic, some one-off removal. This is definitely closer to what I want to play, though, I think. Yeah, I guess that's fine. A really, truly fast aggro deck can punish me for that, but really fast aggro is like the easiest thing to sideboard against. Yeah, okay. I like Mind Stone. Mind Stone would be great if I weren't trying to make 3 colors work. It only tapping for colorless is just too much of a liability for me. If I'm gonna be in green anyway, I'd rather have Rampant Growth, I think. Almost any day. I don't think I need this Fairy Con. I'm not sure about these man lands. Maybe Treetop Village. Not sure about Fairy Conclave. Treetop Village can threaten blocks. Fairy Conclave basically never can. You mainly want it in draw go, or an entirely dead board state. Since it doesn't mana fix either, I think this is a luxury I cannot afford right now. Let's go +1 Snow-Covered Island, and then... maybe that's okay. I'd really like to get 3/2/2 on my basics so that the Rampant Growths are safer to use. I was wrong to not include Wooded Bastion before. This card kind of fucks. And I don't have very many things that only tap for blue to get stuck on. So being able to get double white off a single thing is pretty fucking solid. What would I get rid of? Probably Panorama. Nimbus Maze. Alright, we'll leave it like that for now. Yeah, okay. I have some early plays. Early, quote unquote, you know, turns 2 through 4 kind of plays. We're gonna throw in anything else for mid-range, maybe like a Set's Tiger. That's a good stall trade to do that kind of shit, or Calciderm. Call of the Herd would also be pretty good. But no, we'll stick with this for now. So that was, all I did was 1 minus Fairy Conclave +1 Snow-Covered Island. Go. That should make it harder for me to... oh, I just realized I forgot to swap back to the... I forgot to swap back to the browser while I was looking at that. My bad for not showing you guys anything there, but... Vance Singleton, now featuring 2 snow-covered islands. Let's goldfish a little more. And if I'm reasonably happy, then I'll probably just call this good and figure out my sideboard. Okay, this hand looks pretty decent. Vivid Grove. A little tricky here. Yeah, I don't have... Yeah, okay, I guess it's not tricky. Well, no, I could remove a counter if I wanted to suspend the Ancestral Vision. But... I think we go... Forest, Rampant Growth for an island. And then turn 3, we would go Bastion, tap 3, Kodama's Reach for Plains Island? Or just... yeah, because Plains can turn... Yeah, no. Plains Island's probably fine. My 1 other snow-covered island and my 1 snow-covered plains. I guess plains into play tapped, island to hand, and then we suspend the vision. And we got a Spike Feeder, a counterspell, Harmonize. Yeah, play the Spike Feeder. We could Logic Knot for a number that could let that counter something. Yeah, this one works okay. And we have Harmonize and Vision draw a bunch more gas as long as we're not immediately dying. Wow, I managed to find a hand with no green. But it has a Ponder, so I think I would actually still greed for this. Let's just immediately Ponder, see if there's a green source in the top 3. Yes, there is. Okay, so Brushland, yeah, probably like that. Draw. Just play the plains here, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Brushland into Sakura Tribe Elders, sack for a forest. And then realistically, I'd probably be wrathing this turn, or I guess I could run out one of these. Yeah, this works out okay, I guess. Honestly, I keep changing my mind. I'm so reliant on these early rampant growth effects, I'm not even sure about the counter magic, because, like, when am I gonna have fucking time to just leave back 3 mana on most of these turns? It's still useful as the game goes on. I'm not playing anything like Mana Leak that kind of just stops working later in the game, so I guess it's fine. It's just, it's weird. These are better when you're not so committed to playing sorcery speed effects in your early turns, so that is a bit of a tension in this deck. I could cut those for more spot removal and just accept that I'm gonna let my opponent play the cards they want to play for the most part and answer them after they've done so. That would be easier to do if I were not Singleton and could run 4 Wrath of God, though. But, that's not the world I've chosen to inhabit. It might be a reason, though, to trim it a little bit in favor of, like, Resounding Silence. Or even just, like, Pacifism variants, Recumbent Bliss, or just OG Pacifism, Oblivion Ring. Because there's nothing worse than holding back mana for the counterspell and forgoing playing a Rampant Growth effect, and then you don't get to use the counterspell on something. And that's a scenario that I might be forced into once I'm not gold fishing, but playing an actual opponent, and I'm trying to figure out how to sequence my plays. Mr. Aram, Mr. Aram! Sorry if you posted this like 5 minutes ago. In your opinion, when it comes to deck building, is it better to be consistent or have many good options by playing 2 instead of 4 copies of a card, for instance? Well, I mean, with the, it's funny for me to say this when I'm building a singleton deck when that's not actually a restriction I'm operating under, but if you're asking, like, what is generally stronger, and not just, you know, kind of more interesting, more fun, generally consistency is preferable. Not all good decks are, you know, 24 lands and 9 4-ofs. There is room for nuance. But generally, whatever cards are core to your game plan, you want to just run at 4. And then there can be some wiggle room for 2s and 3s. Often what you're going to want is, if you have a significant component of your deck that lets you search, you can run a toolbox where you run a non-trivial number of 1 copies on the understanding that you're running them because you have, you know, you have like some 4-of that searches any of them. So even though they're all at 1, they're much more accessible than that would imply. So that's also a valid reason to break the, you know, the consistency number. Occasionally, you know, if you test and you decide you feel this way, sometimes there's a card that you know you're going to want to draw, but you generally don't want to draw early. Those can be good candidates for 2 or 3-ofs. Like if you're playing a control deck and you only, like a very pure control deck, and you only have a small number of cards that are win conditions, those would be pretty reasonable to play at like 2 or 3, because you know that you don't care about drawing them early in the game, and in fact, you don't want to draw them early in the game. You want them at more than 1, probably, because you don't want to have to go through your whole deck without finding them, but you know if you're not going to play them till, like, turn 8, and you've got some card draw or deck thinning, like, you'll probably find them a copy by then. You also want to play at 4 anything where you're happy to draw more than 1, basically. Those are the guidelines, I would say. Yeah. Now all I'm deciding is, do I maybe want to trim the counter magic for stuff that works on things that have already hit play? Probably not entirely, because there's a lot of psychological value in having even a small amount of counter magic in how it makes your opponent second guess what they can actually do with their cards. But maybe, like, maybe instead of overwhelming intellect, we want just something that deals with a creature that has already hit play. Which is a shame, because this is a really funny card. We don't really have any other good persuasion variants. Yeah, maybe Resounding Silence. It's kind of expensive, but it does have the flex of it works fine at 4 mana, and in the late game, you can get a bunch of value out of it at 8 mana. There's Path to Exile, of course. Still good. Not my favorite of this type of effect. You know I love blowing up my opponent's lands rather than giving them lands. Tell you what, let's put you back in considering. We'll keep the cheap stuff, even though we're often gonna get tripped up on curve and not be able to play it on turn 2 or 3. it being cheap does still help for mid-game if I want to play something that costs like 3 to 5 mana and still have mana up to counterspell. So let's do that. I think I'm gonna swap that for something that better answers creatures in the early game. Let's swap it for Call of the Herd, actually. Because that lets me trade with 2 creatures, if they're, you know, the size of creatures that you're generally going to see in the early to mid-game. And it's good even if my opponent doesn't have creatures. And it doesn't care that much about Wrath of God. Because I can make one and Wrath and flash it back and get another one at a later time when it's more convenient. It gives me something else against a faster opponent. Yeah, it's a very minor change. I don't think I'm going to tweak this too much more. This is probably close enough. I would still love to fit in a second Snow-Covered Plains, but I don't know what to take out for it. I think... let's cut the Bant panel. Put that back to considering planes. The 2. Okay. 7 basics, so I can draw like 3 or 4 for normal draws and still, and usually not end up blanking my Rampant Growth effects. And actually, Farseek and Into the North... Farseek has 1 non-basic target only, but Into the North has 2, so those are less likely to get blanked anyway than Rampant Growth, Kodama's Reach, or Sakura Tribe Elder. We'll try that. And I think I'm just going to leave the main deck there. It's Singleton, so individual card choices are going to be such minor adjustments. Yeah, we're just gonna try that. And then for the sideboard, okay. Well, I'm taking my 1 Qasali Ambusher for sure. Let's see. Fairies, fairies, fairies. Give me a Hurricane. Probably... yeah, gimme, I need answers for Bitter Blossom. I need pictures. Pictures of Spider-Man. Aura of Silence is actually... yeah, no, I'd rather just have Seal of Primordium against Bitter Blossom specifically. I might still play this, but... there's plenty of naturalized variants. Yeah, let's go Filigree Fracture. Maybe Krosan Grip. Oh, oops, I put 2. My bad. 2 naturalized variants. I mean, there's just naturalized. There's naturalized and disenchant. Krosan Grip is nice. Cause once Bitter Blossom has made a single token, Spellstutter Sprite can counter many naturalized variants. Hailstorm's really funny as a Pyroclasm variant. That's probably worth sideboarding against decks that play wide with lots of creatures. Oh, Seed Spark's not bad. Disenchant plus make 2 guys? Maybe. Oh, Spell Snare, yeah. Also for fast decks. Do I just play Disenchant plus Natural? Well, Naturalize is probably better than Disenchant because it's easier for me to make green mana. Aram looking up at heaven. This is some beginning of the end sounding music. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just good old Naturalize. He can go on the sideboard. Let's go Naturalize plus Krosan Grip, I guess. Threads of Disloyalty is kind of interesting as an anti-aggro card. Ghostly Prison, some options. Where did Krosan Grip go? There we go. Okay. That's probably about all we can do about Bitter Blossom. Spell Snare, 4 Naturalized variants, Hurricane. Are there any other Hurricane variants I can play? Oh geez, I need my big-ass query for what sets are legal. Show me these sets, only cards in my collection. And, oh... Show me O, flying, and color includes green. Hurricane... that's not good enough. Wish I'd opened a Sky Thresher, or Cloud Thresher. Needle Storm exists, I suppose. Put him in considering. This guy's funny, but he's not... He's a little too much of a called shot, I think. Oh, Silkwing Scout if I wanted one more, oh, a second worse Sakura Tribe Elder. Gloom Widow's Feast is too expensive and only kills one thing. It's not really what you want against fairies. Trophy Hunter is admittedly very fuck you exactly fairies. Can kill fairies repeatedly over time and becomes unmanageably large. You know what? I'd actually consider that. He's not really in the mana range I want for an anti-fairy card, but it is very funny. It's very funny indeed. Where am I at on the sideboard? 8 cards. Okay, so I got 4 Naturalized variants. Spell Snare. I got a little bit of anti-aggro, Hailstorm and Kasali Ambusher. Sunlance? Actually, that's a pretty decent 1-for-1 kill something early against people who aren't playing white. That might be an okay sideboard option. Aren't really any decent fog variants, sadly. Flash Freeze... Decent color hate. One of my opponents is banned out of green, though. Maybe. That's probably worth trying. Yeah, okay. I should keep in mind, since I'm playing Mo and Savvy, it's much less likely that I'll be playing against anything that's not like a creature-based deck. So I don't need a lot of sideboard space reserved for like, oh, that my opponent's on hard control and all my removal is useless and I gotta have threats to board in instead. Yeah, maybe you go like a Sunlance and a Pacifism. Have more spot removal that I can throw out early. This is quite a bop. Sunlance. Pacifism. Yeah, okay. Not gonna bother with Teferi's Moat because it'll be completely useless against fairies, and many aggro decks will have enough flying creatures that it's not gonna be super great. What are we lacking answers for, or what things might be dead in our deck? Not much, honestly. Most of our stuff is pretty versatile. Counter magic, card draw, and threats are never dead. I suppose there might be opponents I don't want the sweepers against. Yeah, probably just some more things on the sideboard that are just useful to bring in, so that if I'm playing against something kind of unexpected and I have dead cards, I have things to bring in that are more guaranteed to not be dead. Could bring Windborn Muse and Ghostly Prison against decks where my 1-for-1 removal is going to be really inefficient. And I need more, like, because I don't have any other sweepers to bring in, really. So, yeah, that might be the best. Auron Viper would be very good against a slow, more control-y deck. The Trophy Hunter's so funny. If I'm playing Trophy Hunter, it's like a major called shot. It's like for exactly fairies. I don't think I'd bother bringing this in against anything else. The Hurricane, I mean, I suppose that's kind of true of Hurricane as well, though. The Naturalize effects have a few more potential things they could be good on. Yeah, okay. Let's go, Alright. Just between you and me, guys, I'm gonna play the Trophy Hunter, because it'll be really, really funny. If that ends up... If Savvy brings fairies again. I mean, I could board all this in, and I'd probably still lose to turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Bitter Blossom 90% of the time. Which is the sad part, but, you know. This maybe gives me a puncher's chance. Let's go with a... Let's sideboard a Rox Warmonk if we want some earlier options for doing things. Auron Viper. And... I don't know. If we're really in an advantage grind game, I guess I could bring the Set's Tiger also. That's like got several use cases. It's pretty good against aggro. This will be funny, makes up too much of my decision making in decks. Yeah. Auron Vipe School Host Club. I think we made that joke the last time I played it, but it's still a good joke. Is there anything else I care about being prepared for? Like graveyard strategies? Do I want one Tormod's Crypt? Genesis is not legal. Dredge stuff is. I suppose Mo could go on Gravetroll.deck. How much do I care about that? I mean, well, yeah, I actually have a couple things that get rid of creatures without putting them back in the graveyard, but not a ton. Still, there's no Entomb. A lot of the most powerful graveyard support's not legal. I think Set's Tiger is good against burn because it can counter. You can play it in response to a burn spell. I don't have much that's specifically good against that. Yeah, do I want anything? Or if someone just brings like red deck wins while Incinerate is legal. Set's Tiger would be good. Yeah, I'll put Set's Tiger on the sideboard at 1. This seems reasonably versatile. Flash Freeze works for that. Sunlance and Pacifism. No one's going to be playing pure burn, though. There's not enough good burn spells in extended card pool. You could do that if it was Legacy, but you'd have to scrape for some not great stuff. Yeah, I guess the question would just be if I wanted life gain to try and combat that instead of some of this extra spot removal. I guess it's true if it was heavily burn-based, I don't have a lot to board out all this stuff for. Like, not just burn, but, you know, it was like spark elementals and shit. My Wrath of God, my Reciprocate. Condemn still works there, but yeah, there's a lot that doesn't work great against that type of strategy. And we keep the Flash Freeze. Maybe instead of Pacifism and Sunlance, I go for something that'll be good against aggro and against burn. Against aggro, I got Hailstorm, Sully Ambusher, Set's Tiger, Spell Snare, depending on the... Yeah. Okay. I think I'll leave the Pacifism. I'll, instead of the Sunlance, let's play one, where's the Gerard's Wisdom functional reprint from, Saviors? Presence of the Wise. Yeah, maybe this. Primal Command also can gain 7 life, which is pretty nice. Kiss of the Amatia, 7 life and 2 cards. It does cost 6, though. I guess Bant Charm also can... Well, I've only got 1. Yeah, we'll try that. Put that on the sideboard. So we're a little better insured against an aggressive strategy that's not so reliant on attacking with a bunch of creatures. And I suppose we would bring in our lifelink boy as well. Yeah, okay. I think I'm satisfied with that. We got our 1 spike feeder. We got our none kitchen finks, because I didn't open any. Sag. Is Genocide Jack legal? Are you referring to a specific actual card by that nickname, or is it just a Danganronpa joke? Yeah, I think we'll try this. This is definitely going to be clunkier than a non-singleton one, but I'll have a lot of fun stuff I can show off. Yeah, do I have a more clever name for this? Not really. I didn't, oh, I played the 1 Bant Charm. I guess it's technically... very technically Bant Singleton. That's what we'll call it. Let's get the final version of the deck into... Oh my god, I did it again! I didn't fucking switch... Oh, god! Bad job, me. Bad job. I forgot that it's not just a monitor capture. I have to switch the fucking window or you can't see anything I'm doing. Wow. Like half an hour just sitting on the cockatrice screen. If I ever do a stream like this again, I'm gonna have to pound that into my head. Alright. Oh, hello, Gary. Sorry. We're still not listening to you. Alright. Now, we switch back to cockatrice. Closed all the tabs. I didn't even know you could do this. How do I get the deck tab back? There we go. Okay. Load from clipboard. Okay. So this is very technically Bant Singleton. Okay. Half an hour sitting on the cock. Indeed. Okay, so we'll do a last look at the deck here. This is where we ended. Got a little bit of counter magic, some spot removal, ramp effects, a few sweepers, and then threats from the mid-range pulling double duty to the upper range that are just there to be win conditions. Is it gonna work? I don't know. I thought this would come out a little smoother than it did. It is, it's just not easy. When you can do so much in a single deck, it is not easy to figure out what are the best cards to include and what ratios to make it run smoothly. But we'll see. We'll see if we've got something with this one. If this will be enough to see us through. It's got an okay amount of filtering. It's just, can we survive long enough while filtering through cards and ramping and stuff to get to things that let us respond to the board state? Because we don't have that many. Oh, shit. Look at all these people with emotes. Ah, excellent use of the Raging Gay emote, Ralph Bat. Always up for seeing more of that in chat. Yeah, I think we'll go with this. And then, what time is it? This is a longer stream than I assumed, because I thought this was just gonna be, yeah, we'll just fix up this deck that I've already started making, but I went through all these iterations. Yeah, I don't think I want to start doing anything on Arena. Yeah, no, I think we'll call it. We'll call it around here. So we'll see how this performs tomorrow. And just as a reminder for everyone who might not have been here at the beginning or might have forgotten, if you want to see me play this against my competitors in the progression series, that will be tomorrow on twitch.tv/surpriseroundrpg at 6 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, until then, I think I'll see you guys around. Quick draft for the new set should be live on Arena, I assume, this upcoming week. So I'll probably try that out. But other than that, we will see. Have a good evening, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed your weekend. I hope this upcoming week treats you well. Say goodbye to chat, me. Goodbye, chat. Me.